on pins and needles.
I heard it was going to be about the 2020 election, 2020 in Georgia.
They're going to use, the theme of the speech will be about secure elections, but he's going to use, instead of just coming out and saying the election was stolen, he's going to use information that he believes is valid to demonstrate the need for securing elections, and it'll be strongly inferred. You'll be able to infer from the, it'll be applied, and you'll be able to infer that he believes there was misdeeds around Pennsylvania, Georgia, and a couple other. I'm trying to remember the stats. I didn't take. They're old friends of mine, and I haven't talked to them in a while. But he's going to use those cases to point generally towards securing elections. But the media will. Although I'm not sure he will claim it, the media will say he claimed that the election was stolen. Gonna be a lot of fun. I'll be chasing you. I'll be chasing you around. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I heard. But the deal is, I'll be following Norm around on Clubhouse to hear how he. And we're gonna see some classic Norm. 5 years of Norm is gonna be Apex Norm here next week through the weekend.
Apex Normerator.
Yeah, so that should be your new name, mate.
One of my first wife's best friends used to call me the Norminator. He Norminated!
Well,
She's a producer of a charming television series featuring only baby cats and dogs, and I think it was called Too Cute. Did you ever see this show? I mean, it was abominable, but it was weird. They made up stories, and they had video of little baby cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. Hey, it's interesting that a lot of animals have special names for the baby form of that animal.
A lot of animals.
Yeah.
Okay, this came out the other day because we saw some wild turkeys and their babies, and we didn't know what they're called. There is a special name for them, which I now forget. But they're not chicks, they're something else. A special turkey name.
Calves are for cows.
Whales are also calves.
Yeah, there are a lot of calves, I guess.
Yeah.
Elephants, I think, are
calves. A horse. A foal is a horse, right?
There you go. What's the word for a deer?
Fawn.
Fawn. Baby turkeys are called poults. P-O-U-L-T.
That's right.
Do you know there's a peacock and a peahen?
Yeah.
So peacock is actually the guy.
Right.
It's got cock in the name. I mean, we should have really figured this out for ourselves. Oh, John Kitover wants to come back up. That's fair that his night is over. All right, I'm inviting him up. Chicago is the same. Oh, wait, there's three of you.
Rubono Shel Olam. All right, I want to read a poem on justice. It's represented by the number 11. This key is the center of the Torah. It stands for equilibrium, balance, symbolized by the title of the songs. These also symbolize the Hindu doctrine of karma, which literally means action or work on Clown House. It manifests itself in the form of a law of undeviating justice. This doctrine is expressed in the Judeo-Christian dictum, as a man soweth, so shall he also reapeth on Clown House. In physics, it is stated that every action on Clown House has an equal and opposite reaction. It is the entire appearance of cause and effect. The two curtains, suggesting duality, represent balance by their symmetrical arrangement. The throne repeats the pillar and veil symbolism of key 2, the circle, and square on the front of the crowns refer to the movement of spirit within material forms. The sword represents discrimination, which is closely allied to the idea of justice. Key 11, justice, is the agency on Clown House through which all of the forces represented by keys 1 to 10 are transferred to the manifesting powers represented by the keys 12 to 21. This cryptic statement deserves a great deal of thought upon your part. You will be well rewarded for your effort.
Always interesting content there.
Exed, welcome to the room. Are you interested in trying to answer the riddle question above? Are Democrats obsessed with Israel?
Well, if you want to see a great movie, go watch Dinner with Andre. Otherwise, everything is good here, nothing new here.
So, Caleb, when's your next big wedding? When are you doing a union? Because I was at a Jewish party yesterday where they're recruiting young Jewish men to go to a retreat in the middle of nowhere to spend 3 days together to do God knows what. And my question to you is, I'm gonna launch a startup app and website, a dating app that matches Jewish men with Christian Zionist women. It's called Ziodate.
I didn't catch all of that.
He is trying to reduce the Jewish population.
Oh, he's trying to increase the population of his own very small member community of Jewish father, not Jewish mother.
Yeah. Do it the opposite way.
Yeah, those guys get like fresh pass. They're like day walkers.
Do you think that Jewish women are really looking for Christian men, or are Jewish men really looking for Christian women?
Oh, it's not about Christianity.
Or Christians.
What is? Oh, Zionists. Okay.
Oh, like our Zionists looking.
So they will marry evangelical Christians.
Honestly, yeah, probably. Like, in terms of how hostile politics has become, that people, like, use them as exclusion factors, like Democrat, Republican, Trump voter, not Trump voter. Yeah, I think Zionism is in there for, like, a litmus test in terms of, like, a global perspective. Right? Could you imagine any, like, the staunch anti-Zionists integrating with a Zionist in a relationship? I don't know.
It's interesting because my friend, she's extremely liberal, and she has a dating podcast where she tries to hook up people and find partners for them. And most of them, I would say every single one of them, is extremely liberal. Most are Jewish because she's Jewish. That's her circle. But I forgot I'm trying to think of ladies. But I don't know. I'm curious if they are, if the people that are Jewish, if they're Zionist. Like how that would all factor in.
Buttercup so sad. state removed, and she feels that a tremendous injustice has been done to the Palestinians, and that only through her opposition to the state of Israel can the Jewish people be safe.
Don't forget, she works in the media.
Or where?
In the media.
Oh, okay. So she's brainwashed.
She's part of the brainwashing, technically.
Yes, exactly. She's the brainwasher.
Mixed, how would you explain it to her from a legal perspective about the legal industrial complex, or how her position is opposed to law itself?
I don't know if you can explain anything to people when they are so far gone. They're not listening.
Well, they're political, and they will give you a couple seconds of their time, but they demand the green bean. They're really, this app is a game of put down. Every room is a projection or a put down. And I was listening to that guy Honey Badger tear apart some Russian speaking Christian guy the other day, and there is also a language put down game, that happens on this app. Human behavior is a waste of time. Hello?
Could have said that with less words.
Fewer words.
Well, we got Synchronous here. Synchronous, if this was the White House briefing room and you came here to brief the president, what would you brief the president on, Synchronous?
I would tell him that the park is over there, and there's a beautiful pond.
The question was for Synchronous, McZed.
I really debate the fact that you deepened mentioned that. I shared that because I did have those briefings, but none of that would have been commensurate to anything that we would talk about here. So.
Well, if you were to sign up on a dating app, what app do you think you would sign up on, Synchronous, to meet your match?
I don't think I would ever join a dating app. I can meet people in libraries and bookstores.
Oh, you're a book shopper, I see. What's the last good book you read?
The last book that I read was it's an older book. It was go to the bookshelf, actually.
Hey, Marshall, I heard you doing a voice-to-text message yesterday. You were messaging Synchronous and you were saying how annoying she was being and rude. Cheers, Marshall, but you're kind of lazy. You can't...
Sorry?
What year would that publish?
I was reading a book on Chinese myths and legends.
Oh, so it was a recent book.
Yeah. Sorry, what
When
did you say? Sorry. I missed maybe 40% of his conversation, so.
Sounds asynchronous.
Yeah, it is, but good fun. Excited.
Marshall, what's up? Save us.
Wait, John, is John still here? Are you recording still?
He records everything.
He's always recording, and you can see like the
Oh, hi. Hi, John. I see you.
Picture like game on me.
Recording.
Sorry?
You're so hot.
Thanks, baby.
He's fanning himself with a fan. That's why I was saying he's so hot. Mwah. I
Oh.
love you too, babes.
Maybe he could be disappeared for a bit. That would be good.
Hello?
current control.
Hello?
What is the
Hello?
leader, etc.? We wouldn't see this shit happen. The pickup is constantly over these men who are, Epstein Island visitors. The Epstein party guest, yeah, including Trump, including many people in his administration.
Trump went to Epstein Island? That's slander. That's libel.
Let's just eliminate that right now. Let's crush it.
Crush
Take
it.
it for.
All right, everybody, you're on the John Kitover podcast. Go to ChicagoMayorVote.com or Brandon Johnson, Chicago.com. We're listening to a schizo-disaffective support group for former White House interns that had to go to the briefing room to give a brief. Ow. What happened to the way you speak? Why can't you say a sentence succinctly, articulately? Can you ejaculate? Articulately, ejaculate. Articulately. Can you articulate? Ejaculate. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Nobody really wants to talk about that,
Talk about what?
including our president, who has literally bombed boats coming from Venezuela.
It's a cover-up.
Literally couldn't have.
Give me the sign of the open eye,
We can pretend.
a riddle of shadows where whispers lie. The thorny thigh, the maddening cry.
We don't worry about people who
A scarlet woman. Scarlet?
The serpent shakes.
That we're not worried that the Christians believe that there's going to be a rapture, or that the Muslims believe that
The eagle strikes with its jagged claw. As the gods withdraw, a storm of silence, a broken skies where the starlight comes.
They're the worst.
Shadows whisper truths as the bassline drums. That will is fire, unchained, untamed. No path is written, no soul is blamed. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the stars, let the silence fill. I will unflurry, chase alive, be still. Deliver from the lust of the thrill. Echo shattered glass where the circuits glow. The clock ticks slow, but it doesn't show. No purpose, no tether, just a beating sync. Every way perfect, on the edge, on the brink. No chains, no bars, just a voice to fill. Every pulse, every spark is a perfect will. Thou hast no right but to do thy will.
I mean, no one could have predicted this because this is just the literal opposite of what MAGA is supposed to be. Right? Like, no new wars was like the whole thing.
See how many people are there, and I just was curious. It wasn't 500, it wasn't 600,000 people standing there against the. I mean, there was so many people, but it wasn't 600. It's the same thing in Iran. They said like they killing people, like 52,000 people been killed in Iran. Yes, I respect all those lives. There is so many people being killed in Iran, but not 50,000. They exaggerating in everything, in all numbers.
The maddening
I mean, in my real life, in my whole life, I don't like to lie. I don't like to put anything behind. Then why we have to just exaggerate everything? Right now, we talk about like the people being killed and people being doing this and that. Just be honest. Just
So I don't think, to be fair to Alex, I don't think it's exaggerating anything. Sorry,
Those numbers are definitely exaggerating. I don't have exact numbers. I can't see the numbers, but there's 40,000 or 6,000 Americans are saying I think it's justifiable to make a fight.
That's just
People that the genocide that killed 100,000. So I think that's the whole point. 50,000 or 40,000 is a big number. It's more or less from my understanding at people on the ground, 53 to 60,000, somewhere in that area.
So at least, yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Alex's point was to say that there is, Nico, please.
No, you 1 second. You just 1 second. Let me talk. I am
Wait,
talking
no,
too.
listen.
You can't just stop me anytime when I talk. You stop.
The point is, Alex is just trying to say that there is support for the government and the leadership in Iran, and we shouldn't basically try to hide that away, like especially people who are against the regime, and I completely agree with him. Now, no one was trying to exaggerate numbers or talking about the exaggeration of numbers. You guys should try to listen to what he's actually saying and maybe respond to what he's actually saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that there is always exaggeration. But if the people going to the Khomeini funeral,
Dr. Nico, I didn't bring up any numbers. I just mentioned, and this is not something that I'm saying, it's not about numbers. It's about reality. I don't care about numbers. Sometimes you look at it You look at the media from around the board, the media who were present in Iran, who were in the, and they're all over. It was so many people that even New York Times, CNN couldn't lie. So that's the truth.
Alex, let me say it like in this point,
It's not about
even
that.
one
That's
person,
the point of people.
even one person being killed, even 2%, I'm not talking about the thousand, even one person has a life.
Nikojan, it's two different things. I agree. Even one lie matters, for sure. But what I'm talking about is we can't really forget the fact that there are people in the country who like the government, who are supporting the government. They may be making money from it. They may be part of the government. I don't know. Big part of it are basically they're living on government money. And those are the people living there. So you can't ignore that. And if you ignore that, that's what happens to Trump. That's right. So you went and people say, people try to like Iran, you just keep up on Saddam as soon as you say Saddam, everything is gone. It's not. Because it's strategically dispersed around the country. Even if you go just look at Iraq, Syria to Iraq, nothing is going to change because it's not the same scenario that you think. All I'm saying is just you should understand that if you are against it, there is 10% of Iranian people live outside Iran because they kind of don't want to live in the country because of the whole government scenario. Everyone knows that. And there's so many places there, they're living and they can give it up.
In this point, I agree with you. In this point, I agree with you. The whole thing is I'm a I mean, I know there's a difference between a woman and a man. I'm more emotional than you. I'm not saying you don't do that. There are countries, maybe you have a lot more than me, but I show more emotion than you. Pay someone. I mean, we all, like people from the Middle East, I can say it because I have so many people from the different countries. Yes. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. 37 years in Canada. But you know what happened? There is a fire in some of the I don't know where is it, but it's the pollution everywhere. Like the sky is actually gray since morning.
Yeah, our sky here is a weird yellow, so I was wondering if there was some major fire going on.
Oh, there is actually. There's a fire in the jungle. Oh yes, there is.
Toronto?
There is.
I'm in Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I'm living in North York.
It's a wildfire.
I'm in North York, but you know the sky is so yellow, and I can't feel it because I have some problem with my dog.
An orange warning.
Yes, there was an orange. Warning.
Right.
I cough a lot because I have something. I mean, I don't wanna I didn't get here, but I have something in my lung. I have a problem, but it's really, really tough
technically speaking,
Well, you know,
right
who's
now the
from
air quality
Canada?
in the world. Right now the air quality in Toronto is the worst in the world.
Yeah. Well,
I
I mean,
can
this
send
happened.
you a picture. Even me, I'm sitting in my
Well,
home.
this happened 3 or 4
Outside
years
is
ago.
orange. It's really orange.
This happened, and it came down to Connecticut. It was so bad. It smelled like because it went over some factory, and it smelled like something like a wire burning in my house. And I was like,
That's
what the hell? And I went and hold on, Nico, I'm talking. Hold on. So I was going through my house trying to figure out if there's a short in one of the wires. I was going crazy, and I ended up turning off from the circuit breaker the power to the whole house. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm thinking like, okay, I should call the fire department. They could help out with this. And one of my windows is open and I'm smelling. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't from in my house. And I go and open my door. Holy shit, that was so bad it burned your nostrils. It was like that sharp electrical fire smell. And that is so, you know, it had just come down to Connecticut. It was so bad. Then I had to go to Chicago, halfway across the country. I went to Chicago, was there for about a day, and the damn thing followed me to Chicago. And so I was in Chicago when, you know, so I was in Connecticut for like a week, and then I left, went to Chicago for a week. So I had 2 weeks of dealing with this, with
And
women.
you stop and just stay in Chicago. Maybe the fire's gonna stay there.
Well,
No, it wasn't a fire, it was this.
It's supposed to stay until Friday for your information, yeah.
I don't smell anything.
But you know the thing is, it's so scary. It's just, I mean, when I'm looking outside, it's orange. Everything is like, you know, when you feel like it's gonna be the thunderstorm, and it's gonna be rain and something, but it is not. And you know what the funny thing is? If it was the same thing in Iran, everybody was just actually be against the government. It's because of the government of Iran that happened, because they do that is happen.
You know who's from Canada
It's
too?
the other reason, Nico, it's all government's fault. Why?
No, Amir used to live in Canada, Nico.
Edward, Amir John is living in the same country as me. I wish one day I'm gonna actually
Me
meet him.
too, I wish to. I wish to.
You wish to meet Amir?
No, I wish that they both will.
He's not
will-
my daughter, but he's my daughter.
How?
Nico, do you find Amir charming?
See, I want to bring something.
As a brother, he's a charming person.
Let Alex go, let Alex go.
Go ahead,
I
Alex.
want to just how Nico changed the whole uphold the whole thing towards a different scenario. We're talking serious about something.
Alex, you don't need to be serious all
I
the time.
tried my best to take
Alex,
it back,
come
Alex.
on.
Nico likes to talk.
Alex, we've been serious the whole life.
I know.
Just
Let's
be
talk.
chill a little time. Please be chill.
No.
Please,
This is not.
please,
It's
Aziza,
just
let me be chill.
Tell him in Farsi, Nico, tell him in Farsi to chill, tell him in Farsi.
I told him, okay, I told him, dear, be chill a little bit. You don't need to be so serious.
That's
I'm
English
bringing
though,
that
that's
to your
not Farsi.
attention. I don't want. Actually, I hate being serious, and that's one of the problems.
Alex John, ولی عزیز دلم خیلی جدی هستی.
Because this was a serious conversation. ولی خب
You were actually having a serious conversation.
If I want, I can dance for you here. Just
Well,
have the
I
fun.
tried to take it back to the
Here.
point you were making, but it didn't help.
Anyways, I like Fuad. I'm gonna bring the same thing again.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons is like Iranians are very passionate. They love being passionate. They love expressing their emotions, and that's a problem.
Not a problem. It's not a problem actually. This
No,
is the,
come on, let me finish. Let me finish.
This is the place.
It's not a problem. It's amazing that they could do it, but they have to go find a place to do it, not in front of the armed people. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you are angry, go So just find a way to release your anger. Iranians don't know how to do that, and then they come to the street and they start throwing sand at the IRCG, so they're gonna get killed. This is the problem. If they need یه چیزی بلد نیستن ایرانیا, they don't know this, how to deal with their anger, their sorrows, their griefs, even their happiness. Right?
No,
And,
I feel like
not,
this is turning into an Iranian family therapy session.
basically everyone in Iran needs a family therapy session. The Iranian needs a family, but and that's not.
I know.
I'm cat and mew. I'm Persian cat, mew.
What is it called?
Spider-Man Noir on Amazon Prime.
Oh, let me put it on right now.
And I think that we're going to turn to face China and do so to avoid what the United States by building up our military and strengthening our economy and weakening theirs if we can.
Why don't the people? I don't really want to. Like, I'm not interested in weakening China's economy. I want their people to do well, and I want our people to do well.
Well, they're our rivals.
Why don't people who are like who have this feeling about like Taiwan specifically, why don't they ever advocate for like people in Taiwan to just like move to the United States? Or have that be an option?
Taiwan is its own.
Yeah, but there's like no people there. You could provide a pathway to allow for them to move to the United States. It's a little tiny like no people island.
No, there's a lot of people there.
There's a lot of people there for an island, not for us.
They're Chinese. Listen, not
A lot
protecting
of Chinese people like to live here.
Well, the ones that want to live here are here. Hong Kong is seen as a failure. Our failure to protect Hong Kong is seen as a mistake, I would say. Hong Kong.
Okay, I'm totally wrong. Taiwan's too big for that. There's 23 million people. That's too big. You can't.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that.
That's too big.
They're a nice, interesting people, by the way, with good food. In fact, I might get some Taiwan tea right now in honor of Taiwan.
It's kind of crazy how that little spittle happens that many people.
Well, they only fled there. They fled there from mainland because of the war between Kuomintang and Mao Zedong.
Yeah, we should at least take the. It's crazy that we allowed the semiconductor industry to be placed there. We should at least take that out of there.
Well, we're trying to do that. That was actually sort of part of the Clinton globalization thing, which at the time worked because it was so much cheaper to produce stuff in Taiwan and in mainland.
What a bad idea! I mean, most things weren't running on computer chips at the time, right? So hindsight's 2020.
Well, frankly, I hope El Presidente can stand up a bunch of domestic production of everything. I mean, we
Manufacturing is down right now.
What's that? Yeah, well,
manufacturing jobs are down.
I think the idea is to stand it back up with AI.
I mean, we need a domestic manufacturing base for things like the U.S. Navy, but we don't really have one. I read a paper that proposed we were like Japan right before World War II, where we had this like fantastic Navy that was bar none, but if you knock it out, you can't rebuild it quickly.
Turns out tariffs aren't good for manufacturing. Yeah.
The way terrorists?
Tariffs. The on again, off again tariffs.
Oh, the tariffs are very weird.
The total lack of consistency, I mean, more than anything, prevents anybody from doing anything. The fact that they could be on one day and off the other day, the next day, increase 100%, decrease 50%, right? You can't plan around them.
Very impulsive. Well, some of its ideas are good, but it's also very sort of superficial and impulsive. I mean, we needed a reset, but the government, shall we say, odd. However, he's the man who's there to do it. It's weird. I'm a little bit concerned that that our military was like the values of the military were a little bit confused as well. So we have this weird guy with the hair. Hank says it's the one who's trying to sort of focus the military.
He looks good when he does PT with the troops. He said he loves doing the PT with the troops.
I heard the opinion again last night, which I hadn't thought about much, that regardless of who you want to blame for the rather humiliating withdrawal from Afghanistan, and people say it was Trump's plan and Biden just carried it out fine. I don't really care, but it was definitely a humiliation. And the point was made that this encouraged Russia to move on Crimea. Well, I'm not sure why they said Crimea, why they moved on Ukraine in any event. And that may well be true, that we showed weakness. Showing weakness kind of undermines deterrence.
So you think Trump's show of weakness in Iran is going to cause some ripple effect?
Oh, I think he's showing strength. I'm pleased with the way he's slamming around. I think he should keep doing it.
No,
I think he will, by the way.
Iran doesn't seem that, they seem
they're delusional.
They don't seem like they're, well, I mean, if you know they're nuts to begin with, maybe you should have more of a plan.
He has a plan. We've been planning this for 47 years. The U.S. military. I'm sure Israel has a plan. The U.S. has a plan.
We were told 6 weeks, and it's still going on.
Trump will say anything. Don't take him. Don't listen.
I mean, on this one, you got to the American people, and you're talking about people like having a war. You probably shouldn't give a timeline if you don't mean it.
It's a war without American boots on the ground, so it's a very different kind. Some others were. I mean, look, in the recent year, war has largely, I don't want to say completely, transformed into something that we're running with robots, for God's sake. We're sending unmanned drones on the water, in the air. Ukraine's using them on the ground. They used a robot to capture 3 Russians the other day. They're sending robot mini tanks and robot or whatever unmanned drones with explosives on them to blow things up. I mean, we're literally on the brink of clone wars here.
No new wars.
He said no new forever wars.
No new wars.
Okay, listen. I am a big fan of exerting American military force as a form of deterrence, frankly, and as a way of keeping the oceans open, which is something that we've always had to do. Keeping trade free, keeping the internet running, keeping the world financial system going. This is our responsibility as the world's leading superpower, not the only superpower.
But the oceans were open before this war.
No, there's always a threat.
There was no.
Adam is right. There was no closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
Robert Kaplan wrote an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal about the U.S. Navy, and essentially it was that we're not fit for purpose at the moment.
Well,
and Robert Kaplan has been a writer of.
I know I disagree with him heartily.
I love him. I think he gets a lot of stuff right.
Good. Look, I'm not against making our military even stronger. Trump increased the budget for the military coming up. Fine. I mean, because we remember we used to deal with the Somali pirates. We used to deal with the Houthis in the Red Sea. Yeah, this was before the war. We have the responsibility to fight pirates. So the Islamic Revolutionary Genocide Corps is acting like pirates in the Strait of Hormuz, so we gotta knock them down. That's literally why we just attacked them, because they attacked some innocent vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. So we gotta knock them down. We don't have a choice.
It's now the Strait of Iran. Like, we have the Gulf of America. This is the Strait of Iran now.
It's not the Strait of Iran. It's the Strait of Hormuz, and it's unacceptable. And we're not going to tolerate it, nor should we. And the world won't tolerate it. NATO, by the way, agrees with Trump that we're not going to tolerate it. They just decided this in Ankara.
They're gonna put some boots on that island in the middle of the strait.
I don't know what they're going to do. He'll do whatever he needs to do. They attacked his ego. They attacked Trump's ego, and it was a big mistake on their part. They're not rational dealers. They picked up about $4 billion in this recent memorandum of understanding, this whatever you want to call it, this fake Schrodinger ceasefire, and they blew it. They stupidly attacked some more civilian ships, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And now we're slamming the hell out of them. We're doing it as we speak right now. I don't, and we reblockaded them. We're suffocating. We have our boot on them.
What makes you think if a blockade didn't work last time, why will it work?
It did work. It's working great. We're suffocating them.
I don't know. They seem to be breathing.
They're breathing, but they are suffocating. It's the death throes. They're disorganized. We decapitated their leadership. They're in terrible shape. Their economy is in terrible shape. We attack them. It's in much worse shape now, and they know it, and we know it. I think it's gone. I mean, Trump manipulated the market. Add the blockade. The blockade is very. We get the blockade, and we can go around it. They were revealed to be a paper tiger. What Trump did was he broke the
Are you guys hearing any of this?
military or kinetically engaging with. Oh, am I breaking up again? It was he
Very
broke
badly.
the ice. They were revealed as a paper tiger. What Trump did was he broke the ice on attacking one of the world's worst criminal states, this Islamic Revolutionary Genocide Corps. So screw them. We were in Afghanistan for a long time. We tolerated it. We can be slam these guys. The big Rubicon is boots on the ground. And we'll see. Maybe we'll tolerate that in a limited way as well. We have a big military. The purpose is to use it. We're not saving it for anything. So then we'll rebuild it, the stuff that we use, and we'll build back better. Looks here like inflation is cooling off, according to LinkedIn News. I like to watch the soccer games on demand,
I hope
but I
that
can't
one of
trust
the,
anybody. What were you going to say, Isaiah?
I hope one of the Republicans runs on. We were in Afghanistan for a long time. We can take this for a long time.
Well, that's what
Great
I say.
messaging.
They're not going to say that, but I'm saying it.
What's another $2 trillion? That should be the messaging.
Technically, it wasn't 2, it was 7. And
Even better.
what's another 7 trillion? Oh man. I have, you know me, bro. I'm big on American military power, but even I think, unless you're going to invade Iran, continuously sitting carrier groups in the Persian Gulf is not the best idea in the whole wide world.
And these aren't exactly, they're nuclear ships, right? So I guess
Yeah.
to keep all these people out there. I was going to say fuel consumption, but that's not a big deal on a nuclear ship.
No, the thing they do have to refuel is their gas tanks for airplanes.
Yeah.
That does have to be replenished. And then they have to do underway replenishment for food and things of that nature. But we're pretty good at unwraps.
Seems like a total waste of money. We could have, imagine what we could have done to our infrastructure for the costs of Iraq and Afghanistan.
Is no one talking currently?
What was your question, Warren?
Oh, I was just seeing if it was a technical issue or if no one was actually talking at the moment.
I muted the app because I was talking to another voice-activated app in my environment here, trying to pull up the FIFA game.
Got it. Not to hijack the topic, but I did hear some comment regarding Taiwan and other issues, and I do have certain thoughts of that, given my background, but if we want to keep the topic on track, I'll keep those to myself.
Why? There's nobody's talking. You might as well talk.
All right. I think someone alluded to why in the world does so much of the world's semiconductor manufacturing occur in Taiwan. And interestingly enough, so the founder of TSMC, which is Taiwan Semiconductor, is a guy named Morris Chang, and he's still with us. He's like in his 90s. But Morris Chang, born in the mainland, educated, grew up in Taiwan, made his way to MIT, graduated, and started with a company that eventually became Texas Instruments. And arguably, Mo Chang was amongst the first, or at least the earliest high-profile example of what many Asian Americans or what many Chinese Americans call the bamboo ceiling, meaning that you can be very highly educated, you can do well in your company, but you'll never have true power or leadership in those organizations because they don't really want a Chinaman running the show. All right. So while he was at TI, he eventually rose to COO, but was apparently passed over multiple times for CEO. And basically he got the picture that it wasn't going to happen. He left TI, went to Taiwan, went back to Taiwan, talked to the government there, and then they shared his vision of making Taiwan a semiconductor powerhouse, and the government backed his efforts, and the rest is history. So just wanted to share that little tidbit first. I think someone earlier had a question regarding how Taiwan became semiconductor capital of the world.
Appreciate it, Warren.
No problem. And also, I think you mentioned how you think that the U.S. would come to, Taiwan's aid if there was some sort of kinetic conflict, kinetic exchange. I would suggest that Taiwan is only 93 miles away from the Chinese mainland. It is entirely energy dependent and is substantially food dependent on imports. And so if China wanted to go the kinetic route or utilize force, you wouldn't need to launch missiles or drones or land marines on the coast. They would simply establish some kind of blockade and strangle Taiwan, and Taiwan would be on its knees in days, if not weeks. Weeks, if not days.
Well,
So
I've had a retired captain of a American nuclear submarine say that we could easily defend Taiwan the same way by blockading them against China.
Well, so 97% of Taiwan's energy is imported, right? Whether it's LNG or oil, petroleum.
Are you Chinese, by the way?
I am, yes. So I'm Chinese, and I have family both in Taiwan and on the mainland. So
a weird position to be in.
It's actually a very common position to be in. I think most Chinese Americans have family on both. I think both Chinese Americans have family, at least here in the States, just because of immigration patterns and so forth, have family in both Taiwan and in the mainland. That's actually very common.
Makes sense, but I would also, I'm quite sure that most diaspora. It's a Republican vote. Juan, you're interrupting. I would say most diaspora Chinese people, obviously, they like freedom, not communism.
I think every family makes a decision on where they want to live based upon their particular circumstances, right? So if you feel that your family and you as the individual is going to do better in Taiwan or in the U.S. vis-a-vis the mainland, there's 1.2 billion people in China. So there are 22 million people in Taiwan, and there are maybe, 4 million Chinese Americans. So people will go where they feel their prospects are the best. So my father left the mainland. He was born in the mainland. He grew up in the mainland. He was 16 when he ran off from the mainland to Taiwan. At the very end of the Civil War. But he, amongst all his family, and he had 4 siblings and both parents. All of his family stayed in the mainland. Only he decided to make that trip. So, and it probably because, he was the third youngest of 5 children, and and then there was a new government coming to town.
But
and he decided that he was going to roll it.
I'm interested in your family story. Very interested. And by the way, I taught in Chinatown for many years, so I have a lot of Chinese former students in my extended family / friend group. But what I said was that I presume that most diaspora Chinese favor freedom over communism. That's what I said.
I think the diaspora, they self-selected, right? They made their choice based on their family made the choice, whether it be the current generation or the generation before them, made their choice based upon where they felt they'd have the most chance of success and whatever that and life, however that looked. For my father, he decided he wanted to, leave China to Taiwan, and then he went to University of Taiwan and so forth. And I think most diaspora are just like that. They make their decision based upon what is best for them and best for their family.
They fled communism.
They felt that in the Chinese Civil War, they had more to gain by staying with the nationalists, or if they're from Hong Kong, they weren't necessarily, with the Nationalist Party per se, but they chose their lot that they were going to do, they were better connected with, or that's the party they supported, and so they chose to leave the mainland at that point.
Well, I don't want to press you, but you're dancing around what I said, and that's fine. But I feel you're kind of affirming what I said by dancing around it. Do you think that we failed to protect Hong Kong and that we should have done better?
No, I mean, Hong Kong is Chinese territory. Hong Kong is Chinese territory.
Yeah, but it was free, and now it's not.
No, it wasn't free. It was, can you name, I've seen the list of Chinese governors of Hong Kong. I've seen the list of governors of Hong Kong, and none of them look like me. So I don't see how.
To you.
None of them.
Your decisions based on how people look, that's a very weird political decision.
No, I say that facetiously because basically, we started
So what are you trying to say seriously?
So we started the American Revolution because no taxation without representation, correct? Right. So
they just basically tax we land.
I said,
Hong Kong.
I want to answer your question.
Right. So Hong Kong.
I want to answer your question. We started the American Revolution because we wanted to form an Enlightenment experiment. It wasn't just about the taxation.
Sure.
No, the taxation was the primary impetus. The Enlightenment rationale came after the impetus of the tax revolution. But if you look at post-Indian American War, which was the 1750s into the 1760s, you have the Sugar Act, the Intolerable Acts, the Stamp Act, which were all intended to raise revenue by the Crown to pay for the war that they had waged in the Americans against the French. So it started out as a tax rebellion. It morphed into an Enlightenment project.
Well, if it was only a tax project, then we would have only addressed those in our founding documents. But we
No. I'm saying the impetus for it was taxes, and then we went to the Enlightenment stuff.
By the way, independent.
By the way,
it was a war of independence.
Marshall, correct me if I'm wrong. Most historians think that the list of Jefferson's grievances were greatly exaggerated, and some outright false.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly right.
So the point I'm trying to make is that how free were Hong Kong persons if they couldn't even choose their own leaders?
I mean, they were free because they were not under the thumb of Chinese totalitarianism.
But they're under the thumb of British colonial rulers.
Well, no, they weren't actually, because British rule was freedom compared to communism.
I would disagree. If you can't choose your own leaders, then how are you?
In every way, let's go through the Bill of Rights. They had those freedoms which they don't have now.
No,
let's start with number one, freedom of speech. That's how they were free.
they weren't free.
Due process, the Fourth Amendment. That's how they were free. What did you want to say, Victoria?
Synchronous, but okay.
Yeah, I can't go with people's silly fake names. I just can't do it. I'm not a silly guy.
Okay, well, they weren't free. They weren't able to choose their own leaders. However, one could make like a very strong argument that that Hong Kong would be better if not for the handover. Because right now under China, it's actually far worse. Hong Kong is also like a very mixed society. It isn't just Chinese people there. There are people from South Asia and other continents that live in the same region.
I actually think it's more, which is definitely much more ethnically mixed.
No, I'm not. I I lived like on the border of Hong Kong. I went there more than 30 times. I know Hong Kong. There is a large proportion of people that are from like different, it's a mixed race.
We cannot find time to die in peace.
Sorry to bore you that, but we did that.
I will take over by the Hong Kong had economic freedom.
It's good that he excused himself because he was actually contributing to the misinformation.
I'm shocked I haven't heard that one. This means what?
I don't think so. It's just potentially misunderstanding the amount of information that potentially you and I would have on the topic at hand. So, and this is not related to him, but also related to information writ large. When people have lack of information, they sometimes assume that a person who is proffering that data, that, you know, they take it, they place more value. And it's unfortunate because that is how misinformation is spreading. I don't mean it like lying. Well, the idea that if you claim to have some sort of expertise in something, and then you hear something, people are willing to like buy it quickly, very quickly sometimes. It can be like the half second in which you're sharing something on stage, and people believe you, and that information gets spread, even if it's false, even if it's shoddy, if you were to look up any of the sources, different sources provided, it's shoddy. That is my biggest fear, is when what is
Well, that's because people are lazy.
I see that happening.
As to why people are lazy, that's a whole other discussion. But regardless of somebody is an expert or not, when they bring up information that somebody else doesn't know, it might be appropriate to say, well, where did you get that? Can you post your site in the group chat?
Yeah,
I know that I have enough common sense to distinguish information from opinion. If Tom, Dick, or Harry that I'm listening to for the first time says, hey, according to CBS News, ABC 123, and they post CBS News, and I take a couple of minutes to read it, fine, I can buy that. If Tom, Dick, or Harry says, it's my opinion that this is good, bad, right, wrong, or whatever, I'm going to give that a second glance, maybe do some research, because I don't know Tom, Dick, or Harry. But on the other hand, let's say Caleb tells tells me something that's recorded in history 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, I know he's an expert on that topic, and I'm going to believe that what he's telling me is true until someone else or myself questions it and does actual research to determine that it's not true. If Marshall tells me something about voter registration, canvassing, voter rights, I know he's an expert in that topic, and I'll believe what he says until the same thing. I question it and or decide to verify it being wrong. But generally, the reason why people spread misinformation is not from a lack of intelligence, but just being lazy. Side note, as Argentina v. England commences right now.
Yeah, it's starting now, actually.
Heartwarming.
I think Argentina wins. Go Messi.
One of the most heartwarming parts of FIFA, and really of my last couple of weeks, is watching the soccer stars walk out holding the hands of little children. Very, very sweet. So just pure uplifting heal some of the discomfort. Very supportive.
Games were always meant for that, actually, and it was meant to be like a diplomatic way for people to see like humanity in other cultures that they don't on a daily basis. But I really hope that Argentina wins that game. I want them. I am in my mind like wishing for Argentina versus Spain game for the end. That would be my thought for the day. But besides that, I think are we done with the topic that was in the?
We can change topics if does anybody want to change topics? Do you have an idea for our moniker?
Can I propose like a different topic?
Sure, of course.
Okay. What do we think about the midterms?
I'm gonna even change the title.
And it connects to this topic.
I don't think that we need to talk about Democrats being obsessed with Israel.
That's a
fact,
huge issue.
they're-
Part of the next thing.
well,
That's one of DSA's
they're
main
also-
shticks.
There are also people that would vote Republican.
That came about once every 6 months while he was here.
Sorry?
It's not in my recognized from the case file.
What
The
is
name of the
this?
visitor log is Nina Moore.
Marshall's talking to his comedic robot.
Tested no murmurs
Oh,
across the board.
okay.
Charitable mention murmurs.
That also is
Okay, there
kind of creepy.
There we go. We got to change
That was
topic for you, Victoria. Here we go.
Creepy. What do you think is going to happen at the midterms, Scott?
Well, I mean, look, I think that if history is any judge, right? I mean, the Democrats will take the House. I think the Senate. I mean, it's funny. Texas isn't playing
If
much.
history is any judge, you just mean because we have a president who's the Republican Party that people are dissatisfied in general.
Well, generally,
Yeah, but he's not on the ballot, which is the problem.
Generally the House flips. Generally the House
So
flips.
voting for the opposing party seems part and parcel with their direction. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Well, yeah, for the House, but possibly not the Senate. Right, the House looks like it's going to flip to the Democrats. The Senate is more of a toss-up.
Which, Marshall, it wasn't a toss-up. I would have said,
Yeah, you
6-7 months ago,
Republican.
if somebody would have said it's going to be a toss-up, I would have said they were crazy. I thought the Senate would have been solidly red. I mean, it's a thin majority, but I would think they would have kept the majority. And I don't know now. I mean, in your state, I mean, I didn't think I'd see Texas in play statewide.
Well, so I went to an event yesterday for Paxton because I'm the parliamentarian for the GOP along with the FEMA area.
Question
And like it was packed out. I mean, just slammed wall to wall, packed out.
Marshall, question for you.
Hold on a second. It was packed out pretty big. So like I did not expect Paxton to have as large a crowd as he did. Yeah, Victoria, go ahead.
Have either of you played soccer?
As a kid.
Yeah, as a kid. I used to play pickup games.
What was your position?
I didn't play intramural soccer. I just played like pickup games, so I didn't really have a position.
I was usually in the backfield. I was usually like a fullback. Like some days I'd get up to halfback, but I was terrible.
Okay, so neither of you really played, is what you're telling me, I guess.
No, intramural sports. I played basketball, baseball, and football.
I mean, I played on a team with uniforms as a child, but as a kid in elementary school.
But you didn't actually play soccer.
Can
this guy be removed? Thank you.
Victor, just give me a second sometimes. Gosh, it takes 3 seconds sometimes.
So, my understanding is that neither of you actually played. But if you did play like a team sport, I was a midfielder. I was not great at I couldn't score any goal, but I was really good at getting the ball, and I ran fast. So I was recruited to a team and was able to do that and pass the ball to a person who could score.
Did you play D1?
Sorry?
Did you play Division I NCAA?
I'm talking about middle school and high school.
Yeah, when I was in middle school, I played basketball and chess. When I was in high school, I played basketball. I played baseball and football.
I played basketball and chess too. So, yeah. But for soccer, the goal was, for me at least, was always to get the ball to the person who could score. And that was the only thing that I would do. I was not ever going to score a goal. I was never going to take a win. Instead, the only thing that I did was lead up the person who could score. What I fear is right now in politics is that we lack the judgment of individuals that would be those that would be helping a person to put something across the line, make sure that they score, make sure that they do a good job. We've lost that because we have now a president who thinks that he needs to take ownership of everything.
Can you please be more specific as to what we've lost? You clearly.
Yes.
If I may, hello?
Specific. No, I'll be very specific.
All right.
Can I?
Well, since you didn't let me finish, yes, please do it.
Okay. The fact that why is Ebola spreading across Africa?
What's spreading across Africa?
Ebola. The Ebola virus.
I know what Ebola is. Go ahead.
Yeah, the virus that
I said I know what it is. I said I know what it is.
Sorry, the virus that typically our USAID would have been able to be at the like on the front lines and would have been able to ensure that it doesn't spread. That, unfortunately, because of Doge, because of our, Elon Musk and Doge effort, the amount of individuals that are in those countries declined. We even had people that weren't even able to make them go back to the U.S. Without paying for it themselves, because Doge literally not only took their careers, but literally they weren't able to pay for their airfare, return here.
Okay, so Doge cut funding for United States representatives in Africa regarding Ebola. All right, anything else?
Do you want me to give a really solid list? Because if so, I would in fact prefer to create that and then come back to you.
If you want, I really didn't get the connection between soccer and politics. I heard what you said, that you were in soccer and your job was not to score. Your job was to feed the ball to a scorer to help them score. And we have lost that in American politics. That's essentially what you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I asked you, could you be specific, and you gave one example of Doge cutting funding for American reps in Africa regarding Ebola. I thought you were going to say something more. Yes.
You're actually what you are doing right now is I applaud you. I think it's great. I think it's good to always critique another individual, but what you are doing right now isn't necessarily you're not talking about what I was referring to. So
Which is why I specifically explained what I interpreted your soccer analogy to be to politics, and you said yes, my paraphrase was correct. So, well, you know what? I just don't understand where you're going with this at all.
The idea of what I was bringing up with soccer is that it showcases where people can actually meet